Georgia's going to have to really play well to cover the line against Vanderbilt. We're talking almost 5 touchdowns here. 34-point favorites on the road in the SEC. What do you think about that? Georgia just coming off of being a 32 or 31.5 point favorite against Carolina is now almost a 5 touchdown favorite at Vanderbilt in a game where Georgia's probably going to have more people there than Vanderbilt. I would say, from what I've seen, certainly that will be the case. So, what do you think about that? Is that line too big for Georgia? Is Vanderbilt going to score 10 points? I don't know if they will. I think that's a good question. And kind of where are we at coming into the season here? 3 games in, Georgia is certainly settled in as the number 2 team in the country. And Alabama will have a lot to get through, just like Georgia, over these next 3 and 4 weeks. So those two will test the waters of the SEC as we get closer to the SEC championship game. And certainly Florida has come into the discussion. And the Gators, even though they lost this past Saturday, are getting a lot of street cred for the way that they played and didn't give up, having been down 21-3. They are almost a 3 touchdown favorite at home against Tennessee. So that's not surprising. I actually think Florida will be a little bit sluggish in that game. That's going to be a 7 o'clock game, even though it'll be at night. It's tough to play big back-to-back games. And don't get confused. Tennessee is a big game for Florida, just like it is for Georgia, even if the balls are not what they used to be. So, in Nashville, I expect a real heavy Georgia crowd, a 12 o'clock game Eastern. This will be an 11 o'clock breakfast game at Vanderbilt. You're not going to get a lot of these games from here on out. Most of Georgia's games are going to be from 3:30 on. I do want to let y'all know that my expectation is that, now I don't know, we don't know yet, but my expectation is that there will be what's called a 6-day hold on the Georgia-Arkansas game, because the networks are probably going to wait to see what the story is on the Arkansas-Texas A&M game. And if the Hogs win that game, that's going to be Georgia-Arkansas on CBS. That's the part that I think everybody's going to be paying attention to. I'm trying to find the Arkansas-Texas A&M line. Am I screwing this up here? I might be doing that live for y'all here, live on tape delay, as it were. But I do, I expect. No, there's just not a line out yet for Arkansas-Texas A&M. That's strange. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to affect Georgia because, of course, them playing Arkansas at noon, I think, would be about the worst case scenario you could ask for. And I do wonder why there's no line right now for the Arkansas game. Is that because of a quarterback situation? Florida played well this weekend, but we'll see if that matters as time goes on. But I think for Georgia to go handle business as an almost 5 touchdown favorite, it's not the most, but it is a significant line. I mean, that's a lot in a conference game, for sure. And this week right now, so Texas A&M is a 5-point favorite over the Hogs. I would say that seems right. I mean, Arkansas, that's a neutral site game. That's a game, Georgia at home against Arkansas is probably going to be close to a double-digit favorite. Now, we're going to see. But they've handled everybody appropriately this season, Georgia. I'm curious to see this Saturday, what does Georgia's offense look like with JT now that this will be the first time this season he's played in back-to-back games in the 4th game here. So what's it going to be like when he gets out there on the field? Should we expect more explosion? Things just come so easy sometimes. The only time Georgia's not had it easy was against Clemson's defense, which I think we all know is pretty good. I don't think Clemson's allowed a touchdown this season from an offense. So I want to see how Georgia effectively moves the ball against a Vanderbilt team that has played, I would say, 3 legitimate teams. Now, they're not Power 5 teams, but they are three legitimate teams. And no, maybe I got too fast there. East Tennessee State, it was their first game of the year, and this is not a good Vanderbilt team. Losing to East Tennessee State and then beating Colorado State. The game with Colorado State and then Stanford, I mean, they played legit games. You cannot lose to East Tennessee State if you're Vanderbilt. Am I getting that wrong somehow? That they have not, like, is that, did I mess that up? They did lose that game, I feel like. Yeah, they did. They're not scoring a lot of points. And this should be a bloodbath. I don't see how it's not. But do you think that they're really going to cover 5 touchdowns? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, Georgia didn't play unbelievable Saturday against Carolina. It was sort of a steady whipping, and they beat them by 4 touchdowns. So doing that to Vanderbilt, a team that South Carolina is not, is certainly better than for sure. Is that something that, does that make sense? I mean, it seems like it does, because this is not a good Vanderbilt team. And they've not been good for a while. So this won't be a big challenge, but there's still a lot to watch. Again, the defense can go do its thing, and it's going to. They're going to do well against Vanderbilt. But the offense needs to continue to move the ball through the air, and you would like to see them to try to be halfway balanced offensively. Can you get 200 yards rushing and 300 yards passing? I think that would be a very good conclusion of the day. I don't know if Georgia's going to run more than 60 plays in this game. I mean, so 500 yards and 60 plays, that's a lot of ground you're covering each play. And how much. The other thing is, how much will Georgia fans take over Vanderbilt Stadium? My suspicion is pretty significantly. This is a fan base that can feel it right now. I mean, if you were in Athens last night, whether it was downtown or at the game or both, then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you got a blowout game against South Carolina, a team that nobody thinks a lot about. And people are waiting until the fourth quarter just so they can do the lights, and then they're like, hey, we're going to go party downtown. But it was, you can feel it right now in the air. People are watching the Gators and Alabama looking for, how is this going to be when we play them? That's what they're saying. They're definitely going to play Florida, but are they definitely going to play Alabama? Not if they don't beat the Gators. So this is that people need to appreciate the time that they're having right now. And the Vanderbilt game will be the last, easy moment in this schedule, because from that point forward, you're going to have physical games. You got Arkansas, then at Auburn, which I don't care. I know Auburn is not unbelievable, but they're physical and hard to deal with, and playing at Jordan-Hare is hard. And then you're going to have to play Kentucky in Athens, which Georgia should win, but they're going to have some scars from that game because Kentucky plays a physical brand of football. Now they got a quarterback. And they get a week off before the Gators, who are going to play LSU the week off before their week off. So that it's time. Right now is time. There's no more preseason. You've had your preseason, so it's time to do it. This is the final warm up for the Dogs. We'll see you in Nashville. Dean Lakeman from Dog Post signing off.